Hey guys, welcome in for 30 books in 30 weeks. I hope everybody's having a really good day. Today's Wednesday, middle of the week, on the downhill slide for this week, week 26 in our 30 books in 30 weeks. I can't believe it's been that long already. Hey Zay. So welcome in. As you guys come in, feel free to share the video out and invite some people into the conversation. We're talking about anger this week. We're talking about the dance of anger. We're talking about anger management and self-ownership as it relates to how to use anger as an appropriate tool to advocate for yourself. And so I shared with you guys earlier this week about how anger is really a tool for self-awareness. So tonight we're going to talk about, or this afternoon we're going to talk about blaming versus claiming in the spirit of anger. So going to be a good conversation for those of you guys who maybe are just joining in, not really familiar with what this is all about or who I am. Welcome to the Ultimate Power Team. My name is Marcy Batiste. I am your Ultimate Power Coach and America's #1 reality-based success and recovery trainer. I live life on Mars. I'm sold out to my happiness, and I'm so glad you're here. I love more than anything to be the spark that ignites the light for somebody else to discover and embrace their star power and really truly walk in your greatness, walk in your purpose, have and enjoy a life that is fulfilling to you. I was sharing with a client earlier today, your personal foundation supports your professional position. So in order to be successful out in the world, we got to make sure home is on solid footing, on a firm foundation. So welcome in. 30 books in 30 weeks is a personal development journey. To that means to be able to, for me to share with you guys things that I share with my clients on a deeper level, but to give you guys sort of an overall view of my coaching style and sort of just truly how to really live and operate in a reality-based life. It is incredibly fulfilling, it is incredibly rewarding, and it's so much easier to do than you probably think. So welcome. I see some of you guys joining in. Hey Timothy, hey Ellen, I see you guys. So today, blaming versus claiming. That's what we're talking about. This week's book is called The Dance of Anger. If you have never read this book, I do highly recommend it. It's an old book. I've had it for many years, and I got it after my bout with my experience with physical domestic violence, and it was a recommendation from my therapist, and it was a great recommendation. I don't, not for 1 minute, ever regret picking this book up. Hey Michael. So blaming versus claiming. So let's talk about that as it relates to our anger management, anger processing. As I shared with you guys on Monday, anger truly is a tool to give us heightened awareness, to say, hey, pump your brakes, slow down, something doesn't feel right. I feel like I'm being violated. I feel like I'm I feel like I'm over compromising. I feel like I'm giving too much of me and nothing in of myself. Oh, you're not late, Michael. We're just getting started. Thank you. What's going on, Carter? But most people don't see anger as a tool. They see it simply as the emotion or as a feeling that they have really no control over. And actually you have a great deal of control over how you manage, process, and deal with the feeling and the emotion of anger. And so today, blaming versus claiming. Let me explain the two different terms. So you feel angry. You're engaged in a heated conversation, argument with someone, let's say, and you invest a great portion of your time trying to convince them that you're right. How many of us have done that, right? You're like, you're so busy trying to tell them that what they think, feel, or believe is wrong and what you think, feel, and believe is correct, that nobody really gets anywhere. And that's why arguing doesn't work. Communicating is the key. So that's blaming. So it's their fault, they're wrong, everything is about them. That's the blaming. It's they. Versus claiming is me. I can only speak authentically, legitimately about me. I can't tell you what you think, feel, or believe. And just as much as I have a right to think, feel, and believe what I feel, think, and believe, you have that right. And so understanding, processing anger means you have to honor the fact that the other person has a right to feel however they feel. You may not agree with them. You don't have to agree with them. Just like they don't have to agree with you. However, blaming will get you nowhere. It is a losing proposition. You will never win an argument by trying to prove that someone else is wrong. You will not even be able to win by trying to prove that you are right. Because in order for you to be right, they have to say that they're wrong, and the likelihood of them doing that is zero, because they think, feel, or believe wholeheartedly that they are just as right as you think, feel, and believe you are right. Make sense? So blaming is never going to work. So if blaming doesn't work, and we're talking about blaming versus claiming, right? So if blaming doesn't work, then we have to claim. So what does claiming look like? Claiming means that you bring it back to you. You bring all of it back in-house. Okay? So you're talking about your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs as it relates to your needs. That's nothing to argue about. It's indisputable. You can't fight with me about how I feel. I'm entitled to how I feel. So I'm not ever going to argue about that. Right? Let's give you an example. The example she uses in the book. She's talking about a lady wants to go to her workshop, and the husband puts his foot down, says, no, you're not going to go. That lady's a quack. The workshop is bullshit. You're not going to do it. She's a women's liberator. Like, no, you can't go. So they have an argument about her attending this workshop. Wife is doing blaming, trying to convince him that his position is wrong, his position is incorrect, that what he thinks, feels, and believes is not right, and that he's not entitled to think, feel, and believe what he thinks, feels, and believes, which is not true. He has every right to those things. Versus the alternative, which is to claim. And that is to simply state, this is how I feel. This is what I believe. This is what I think. This is what I need. And ultimately, this is what I'm going to choose to do. There's no need to argue about it. If you truly feel so strong and so ingrained and entrenched in what you want, what you feel that you need to do, go do it. Don't argue about it. You don't have to claim or blame and point fingers and try and convince them to get on your side. That's the cool thing about being a grown-up. Like when you're a little kid, you had to convince your parents to let you go or convince them to take you to the mall. You can go to the mall all by yourself now. You can go to the workshop all by yourself now. You don't have to engage in those conversations. But if you're going to engage in an argument, because disagreements come up, they do come up. But ultimately, when you start, so they're telling you you're wrong, you're telling them they're wrong. Now you're both angry. The conversation is heated. It's escalating. Emotions are getting involved. Nobody's going to win. Ever. Like, you can't win an argument. There's no such thing as winning an argument. There is ending an argument. There's not ever a winner in an argument. It's communication. It's all about communication. And so when you feel that anger coming up and you asking yourself, like I was sharing with you guys I think yesterday, where is this coming from? Why do I think this way? Why do I feel this way? What emotion is not, what is this? Like, you have to put a label on it. You got to identify it. And then you have to stay in-house about, how does this affect me? How do I feel? How am I going to move forward? What needs? No control and no trust. Right, Michael. And trust is a huge factor in volatile relationships and people who get angry easy and people who argue a lot. But you can't bully your way into submission. Like, it's not going to work. So you have to keep it in-house. You always have to claim and advocate for your needs. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if someone else agrees with you. It really doesn't. I was talking to a client this morning, and that was one of the things we were talking about, was we assign meaning to things. Whether it's good, it's bad, it's right, it's wrong. It's none of those things until we give it a label, until we give it the title of right, wrong, good, bad, etc. So if it truly has no meaning until I give it one, then I can choose not to give it meaning, and therefore it can dissipate. I can let it go, but I can still advocate for my needs and what I want, what I think, what I feel, and what I believe. You don't have to agree with me. and I'm okay with you not agreeing with me. But it's a difficult place when it's with someone that you're close to. It's a significant relationship. But you do, in this journey, learning how to dance with anger, learning how to use anger as a tool, you do have to teach people. You have to retrain people how to engage with you, because if you've taught people over the years that arguing with you is acceptable, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm not gonna argue anymore, you're gonna have to kind of teach them what that looks like, and you have to really bold in it. You have to stand in it. You're gonna have to own every single bit of it. But I promise you, blaming will not ever work. Blaming will not ever work. You have to claim what you need. Advocate for that. Hey, Shireen, what's going on, Mama? You have to advocate for yourself. Claim what you want, and then go do it. Don't waste a whole bunch of time unnecessarily arguing with people, trying to push them into an agreement with you. It's not gonna happen. They're either gonna agree or disagree. At the end of the day, go do what you want to do. You come back, you have another conversation about it. Maybe you were right, maybe they were right. Maybe you got there to do whatever it was you wanted to do, and it was horrible. You hated it, and you're sitting there thinking, well, damn, they was right. I should have. But you never would have known had you had not went and done what it was you wanted to do and had that experience. And then you can come back and say, you were right. Or you can come back and say, I know you really didn't want me to go to that event, to that workshop, to whatever, but I went and I really got some value out of it. I think it's going to help me, because it's all about you. You got to keep it in your own lane, drive your own car, mind your own business. Okay, that's the message for today. Blaming versus claiming. Blaming is a losing proposition all the time, every time. Claiming is the way to go. That is one tool that you can use to learn to use anger as a tool that it was intended to be, as part of your intuitive instincts. All right, you guys have a wonderful day. As always, thanks for living life on Mars and being part of the Ultimate Power Team. I'm glad you're here. We'll talk soon.